Hello guys, welcome back. Are you looking to become AWS Associate Data Engineer certification? Do you want to clear the certification? Then this video is for you. This video is for you only. So to clear the certification, what is the knowledge that you require? The knowledge that you require to clear the certification is you can able to set up and maintain ETL pipelines by using AWS services. You can able to what you can able to do, the persons who is having knowledge on setup by using AWS services, who is the person can able to set up and maintain what set up and maintain ETL pipelines. So don't worry, I'll tell you what are ETL pipelines. So a person who can able to set up and maintain these ETL pipelines in AWS by using AWS services. Those who are having the knowledge on this, they can able to clear this certification. So for this, what are the services do I need to learn, sir? So I told you don't need to worry about it. So first, let us see what is ETL pipeline. What is ETL pipeline? So, sir, can you tell me the ETL full form? Of course, ETL stands for extract, transform, load. Extract, ETL stands for ex extract, transform, and load. So, can I say this loading as injection? Of course, we can able to say this load as injection. So, where do we extract our data, sir? So, finally, we need to process what? We just need to process data only. So where do we extract our data? From other AWS services only. Since our data is stored in some of the AWS services, we just need to extract the data from any one of the AWS service. Then we need to transform. We need to transform that data. So now you can tell me, to transform the data into different models or schemes, do we need to learn? Do we need to know different data models and schemes? Yes. So for transforming, I need to know design. I require to know designing data schemes, designing data models and schemes. I need to know designing data models and schemes. So for transformation, I need to know this designing data models and schemes, right? Yes. For loading our data, after loading my data, do I need to provide security for that data? Yes. I need to provide security for the data. So how can we manage? How can we extract our data? And how can we transform our data? And how can we load our data? So this is all about ETL pipelining. So we just need to manage all these things by using what? AWS services, right? Yeah. So how can we provide security, sir? By using authentication, by using proper authentication and proper authorization, we can able to provide security. Even by using encryption, can I able to provide security? Yeah. So by using these ways, I can able to provide what? Security. So now let us focus on what are the distinct domains this certification will cover. So to cover the certification, what are the distinct domains that I need to prepare? So let us focus on that. So first, there are mainly, you need to focus on 4 distinct domains. So 4 distinct domains you need to focus on. For the certification, you need to focus on mainly 4 distinct domains. What are they? Data injection and transformation. That is nothing but, so in this ETL process, you need to load your data, right? Yes. You need to transform your data, right? So for that, you're focusing on that. So in this certification, this domain focus on 34%. What is the domain? Data injection. Data ingestion and transformation. Data injection and transformation. This domain focus on how much percent? 34% of your questions comes under data injection and transformation. So for this only 30%. So after data injection and transformation, what you need to do? You need to store, right? Yeah. So that data storing will cover 26%, 26% of questions in your AWS certification. Data store management. So after data injection and transformation, you need to manage that stored data, right? So that will cover totally 26% of your certification. Okay. So after storage management, after storing my data, do I need to control the data, right? So for certain requirements, I need to control the data and do certain operations and provide some support, right? So for that, it covers 22%. How much? 22%. Questions covers on this domain 22%. So data operations and support. Data operations and support. So on this domain, 22% of your questions will come. So another leftover 18%. 18% questions comes under which domain is your data security. Here only you can see, right? For loading your data, you need to maintain your security, right? And how do you maintain your security? By governing who can able to access what data, that you need to govern. That is authentication and authorization. Governing that authentication and authorization, you can able to provide security, right? So for that, that will cover another 18% of your certification questions. What is the domain is data security and governance. Data security and governance. So let us see in each and every domain, what are the services, AWS services that you need to focus on? What are the AWS services that you need to focus on? Let us see. And in future videos, you're gonna learn about those services as well, about practical as well as in lab sessions as well. If you see under first domain, that is data injection and transformation. So in this, first you need to inject data, right? So for this injection, first you need to read data, right? Yes, you need to read data. So let's say if your data is streaming, if your data is streaming data, if your data is streaming data, then is there any service in AWS where I can able to read this streaming data? Yes, there is a service. The service name is Amazon Kinesis. What is this? What is the service name? Amazon Kinesis. By using this service, you can able to read the streaming data. So since data injection and transformation, first you need to read the data. So let's say if your data is streaming data, then how can you able to read? By using Amazon Kinesis service, you can able to read this streaming data. Let's say your data is, batch sources. Let's say your data is batch data. Let's say your data is a batch sources data, right? Yeah. So for this batch source data, if you want to read and perform any transformation. If you want to read and perform any transformation, then what is the service? What are the AWS services that are available for me, sir? So there are AWS services like Amazon EMR. What does this EMR stands for? EMR stands for Elastic Map Reducer. So in this, you're gonna able to process this dash batch data. Whereas coming to, is there any other service for reading and transforming my batch source data? Yes. What is the service? AWS Glue. What is that? AWS Glue. By using this AWS Glue, you can able to perform ETL operations on any data. What is ETL operations, sir? Extraction. You can able to extract from multiple sources. By using this glue, you can able to extract from multiple source and you can able to transform that data as well. And you can able to load that data as well. So in this glue, if you want to use multiple service data at a time, then you use this glue service. So if you want to process ML based data, then which service you use? You use EMR service. So mainly in this data injection and transformation, we focus on data injection and transforming and processing the data. So the transforming and processing we can able to do by using these services, and we can able to inject by using these services. Now after this, we need to even manage the pipeline, right? Yes, we need to even manage the pipeline. We need to even manage the pipeline. So what do we call this? Managing pipeline. So we call this managing pipeline as orchestration pipelines. Orchestrating pipelines. Orchestration pipelines. Orchestration data pipelines. Data pipelines. What is present in it? Orchestration data only present, right? So what do we call this? Managing data pipelines. We call this managing data pipelines as orchestrating data pipelines. Okay. So don't confuse with the word that is orchestrating data pipelines. That is nothing but managing your data pipelines only. So how can you manage these data pipelines? You can able to manage these data pipelines by using event bridge. What AWS resource? AWS event bridge and step function. By using AWS event bridge and AWS step function, by using these two, you can able to manage your data pipeline. That is orchestrate. You can able to perform orchestration on your data pipeline. Okay. So what is this event bridge, sir? This event bridge can able to store your events related data. Whenever an event occur, then that data is stored in this event bridge. So based on that event, you can able to perform any operation by using the step function. What is this step function, sir? This step function is same like a state machine. You can able to, let's say, if I have taken a two steps state machine, then in the first state you can able to perform one operation, and in second state you can able to perform another operation. In this way, you can able to manage your data pipelines. So in the first domain, what are services that you need to cover? 100% you need to learn about Amazon Kinesis and Amazon EMR and AWS Glue. And to manage your data pipeline, what you need to learn? AWS Event Bridge and AWS Step Function. So these are the things that you need to learn for the first domain for the certification. That is 34%. If you want to learn, then you must have a grip on these all services. Coming to second domain, that is data store management. In this data store management, you need to know about AWS services. Which service is better suitable for your need, for your cost and performance requirement, that you need to choose. So which service is better and which platform is better and which format of data storage is better to you, that you need to choose in this. So in this, you need to first choose what is the data storage. Choose a data store for this. So let me provide you few important services which are present in AWS, which are comes under this. So in the above domain also, I only provided you the important services. So if you want, then you can able to learn much more services for certification. It will be helpful to you. Okay. Yeah. So choose for data storage management. For data store management, first what you need to do, you need to choose a data storage. So here, let me provide you some examples. So for storing object storage, if you want to store, object type data, if you want to store object storage, if you want to store your data in the form of object, then the best service in AWS is S3. What is the service? S3. It provides you object-based storage for cheap price. So under this, if you want to process your data, let's say your data is stored in S3. By using, I want to process my data. I want to query my data. By using SQL query, I want to request a query to my data which is present in S3. Then you can able to use a service called Amazon Athena. There is a service which you can able to query, which you can able to query the data which is present in this Amazon S3. Okay. So let's say you want to store a data lake. What type of data? You want to store a data lake. Data lake. Then what is the best service suitable for you? Amazon Lake Formation. AWS Lake Formation. AWS Lake Formation is best suitable for you. This service is best suitable for you. So let's say your data is a big data warehouse. Your data is a data warehouse. You have a lot of data. That is whole room you are having a data. So like that, if you have data, then we call that as data warehouse. For this type of scenario, to store that much amount of data, you use Redshift. What is the service? Redshift. Okay, let's say I want to store SQL database. I want to store SQL database storage, or else you can say DBMS database management storage database. For this type of database, I want to store. Then which is the service in AWS which is best fit for me is you can use RDS. What is that? Relational database service. So don't worry, I'm just introducing you services. In future video, I'm gonna provide you a detailed explanation on those services as well. And if I want to store no SQL database data, if I want to store no SQL database data, then what is the best AWS service which is available to me, sir? That is DynamoDB. By using this DynamoDB, you can able to store your NoSQL database. So these are the most frequently used services in AWS. where you can able to use this based on your best need and requirement. You can able to use this. So the second domain covers 26%. So for that, you need to learn about S3. You must need to learn about S3 and Amazon Athena and AWS Lake Formation and Redshift and RDS DynamoDB. So these are the services that you need to focus on for this domain. For the first domain, you need to must focus on Amazon Kinesis, EMR, AWS Glue, Event Bridge, and Step Function. It's well and good if you want to focus on much more services so that it will be very helpful to you only. So coming to domain 3, that is data operations and support. So how much percentage it covers? It covers 22 percentage, right? Yes, it covers 22 percentage in your certification, right? Yeah. For this third domain, you need to focus on data operations and support, right? So in certification, it will cover 22%. For preparing data transformation, to visualize data, to define data quality rules, and investigating data consistency issues. Is there any service in AWS? Yes. The answer for that is yes. There is a service in AWS where you can able to perform data transformation to visualize your data, and you can even able to tell the data quality rules and investigate data consistency issues as well by using this service. What is the service? AWS Glue Data Brew. AWS Glue Data Brew. So this service is used for this purpose. Now, now for providing potentially sensitive data, if you want to identify the potentially sensitive data which is stored in S3, if you want to identify potentially sensitive data which is present in S3, then what is the service that you use? You use Amazon. You use Amazon Mikey. Amazon Mikey. So this service is used for you to identify the potential sensitive data which is stored in S3. So by using these, you can able to provide data operations and support. You can able to provide data operations and support for the data which is present in AWS, right? Yeah. So these are few important services. That's it. For certification, these are must and should, right? Yes. So let's move on with fourth domain, that is 18%. 18% of questions will be covered under this data security and performance. Now you can tell me, how can you able to provide data security for your data? For your data, how can you able to provide the security? Nothing but avoiding the unauthorized users access, right? Yes. How any user can able to access AWS? By authentication only user can able to access the AWS. First of all, you need to check with the authentication users, right? AWS will allow only authenticated users. And authorization, whenever in your account any service will be accessed by any IAM user, then it indicates you authorized that person by giving some permission or policy. By giving some permission or policy, you're authorizing that person from your AWS account to access that particular resource, right? Yes. So to govern the any user access over your resources and provide security to your resources, what you can able to use, what is the famous service in AWS that you can able to provide security and governance? That is IAM. AWS IAM. This AWS IAM service can provide you security as well as the governance over the users who are logging in. That is, by using this IAM service, we can able to provide authentication and authorization for a user. You can even you can even do not able to you can even stop a user by without providing authorization and authentication of accessing AWS services. So about the service, you're gonna learn in future very more and depth. So don't worry. Here I just told you the service name. And so if your data is accessed by someone, let's say your data is accessed by someone. If your data is not encrypted, then is it understandable to users? Yes. So since the data is not encrypted, it is understandable to user. So to provide much more security, can I encrypt my data? Yes. So by using which service we can able to encrypt our data? By using AWS KMS. By using key management service, we can able to encrypt and decrypt our data by using key management service. By using keys, here in key management service, we can able to use keys. KMS stands for key management service. By using keys, we can able to encrypt and decrypt our data. So if any unauthorized user accessed also, since it is encrypted data, he cannot able to understand it, so he cannot able to use it. So finally, what is the governance service? To track and manage changes which happens within your account. So if you want to track, if you want to track the changes which happens in your AWS account, then you must need to learn about AWS config. So I'm again telling you that these are the important services for this certification, and it's very good. It's very needed to learn other services as well. So including these other services as well, you need to learn to fulfill this certification and able to pass this certification. So I hope this video is understanding to you. In this video, you got an idea of who can able to do this AWS Associate Data Engineer certification and what are the needs that he need to manage to fulfill the certification, and what are the distinct domains that are present in the certification. In those distinct domains also, what are the famous services which are present in AWS that a user must need to know before going to certification. Those all resources you have a knowledge on the names. So in future videos, I'm going to provide you the videos on those services as well in depth. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. See you back in the next video. Until then, bye bye, guys.